Welcome everyone. So my name is Vidansha. Today we are going to do chapter 1 Science Cordova class 8. So let's begin. Our first chapter is crop production and management. Food is one of the basic necessities of life for all living organisms. Food provides energy for carrying out all body functions such as digestion, respiration and excretion. Food is required for the growth and development of our body and body repair. It also protects the body against diseases. This means that we all know that food is the basic necessity of life. That means without food we can never live. We cannot live without food. And food, it provides energy for carrying out many body functions such as digestion. When we do digestion, it takes energy. When we respire, it takes energy. When we excrete, it takes energy. So it uh, it provides energy for the body functions. Food is required for growth and development and body repair. That means whenever your height grows and your body develops and your body repairs your injuries, everything takes energy. It also protects the body against diseases. That means the energy protects our body against diseases. Okay. Among all the living organisms, only green plants make their own food. Animals and human beings depend on plants and other animals for their food. We get our food from plants and animals. In order to provide food for a large population, proper management and distribution of food is necessary. Till 10,000 BCE, the nomadic people wandered from place to place in search of food and shelter. They ate fruits and raw vegetables of forest plants and hunted animals for food. This paragraph means that among all the living organisms, all of them, only green plants were the living organisms that could make their own food. Otherwise, we all humans and we all animals depended on the plants or other animals for food. We get our food from plants and animals only. In order to provide food for a large population, proper management and distribution of food is really necessary. Till 10,000 BCE, our ancestors used to wander from place to place, from there to there, in search of only two things. That is the requirement of food and shelter. They ate. They all ate fruits and raw vegetables for forest plants and hunted animals for food. Later, people learned farming and cultivated wheat, rice, and other crops. They also other food crops. They also domesticated animals to meet their food requirement and did hard physical work. This marked a new era in the history of humans. From food gatherers, they turned into food producers. Later, the time many humans learned farming and used to cultivate wheat, rice, and other crops. They also domesticated animals to meet their food requirement. For their food requirement, they domesticated animals and did hard physical work. This marked a new era in the history of humans. We turned from food gatherers to food producers. Agriculture. Agriculture is an applied science that deals with the mass production of crop plants and animals useful to human beings. Besides crop production, several other related activities like poultry, fishing, and sericulture came within the scope of agriculture. The population of India is increasing very rapidly. To fulfill the food requirement of such a large population, increased increased production, proper management and distribution of food is very necessary. This paragraph states that agriculture is an applied science that deals with the production, huge production of crops of and animals that are useful to human beings. Besides the crop production, there are other related activities like poultry, fishing, and sericulture that are done along with agriculture. The population of India is also increasing very rapidly. To fulfill the food requirement and the increased production and the proper management and distribution of food is necessary. Crops and cropping patterns. Plants of the same kind grown at one place on a large scale are called a crop. For example, crop of wheat means that all plants grown in the field are of wheat. They are produced of cultivated plants is called they are the product of cultivated plants is called crop produce. This paragraph states that all the plants of the same kind, of the same breed, when are grown at a particular place on a large scale, are called a crop. For example, crop of wheat means that all the crop wheat plants are grown in the same field of wheat. The product of cultivated plants is called a crop produce. Look at table 1.1. Some crop plants are grown in India. Type of crop. All of these are types of crops. All of these are type of crops and these are the examples of the crop that are produced. Horticulture. Hortus means garden and culture means cultivation, which is a branch of agriculture that deals with the production of vegetables, fruits and decorative plants, which is similar to agriculture but is carried on a small scale. Some important crops of horticulture in India are potato, cabbage, which are vegetables, apple, guava, pear, which are fruits, rose, jasmine, and croton, which are ornamental plants. India is a very vast country. A rich variety of crops is grown at different parts of the country because of the climatic conditions like temperature, humidity, and rainfall from one region to another. Despite this diversity, two broad cropping patterns are identified, which are Kharif crops and Rabi crops. This paragraph states that India is a huge country and there are many kinds of crops are grown in different parts of this country because the climate conditions like temperature, humidity, rainfall are varied from one place to another. Despite this, there are two broad cropping patterns that can be identified in India. These are Kharif crops and Rabi crops. Kharif crops. The crops that are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crops. Kharif crops are sown at the beginning of the monsoon season, which is June and July, and are harvested at the end of the monsoon season, which is September and October. Kharif crops depend on monsoon rains for growth. Rice, maize, soyabean, groundnut, cotton, etc. are Kharif crops. This paragraph states that Kharif crops are the crops which are sown only in rainy season. These crops are sown at the beginning of the monsoon season, June and July, in the months of June and July, and are harvested at the end of the monsoon season, which is in months of September and October. Kharif crops depend on monsoon rains for growth. Examples of Kharif crops are rice, maize, soyabean, groundnut, and cotton. Rabi crops. The crops that are sown in the winter season are called Rabi crops. Rabi crops are sown at the beginning of winter season, which is October and November, and harvested in March or April. Rabi crops are not dependent on monsoon rains for growth. Wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed are Rabi crops. This paragraph states that Rabi crops are the crops which are sown only in the winter season. These crops are sown by the farmers in the beginning of winter season, which is in the months of October and November, which are harvested in March or April. Rabi crops do not depend on monsoon rains for growth, and examples of Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed. Agricultural practices. Agricultural practices are activities in a particular sequence undertaken by farmers over a period of time to cultivate a good crop. These are the practices taken by the farmers to grow and harvest a crop. Also, it contains the practice of storage. Preparation of soil. It is the first step of growing crops. It involves loosening and turning of the soil. Preparation of soil involves two steps: plowing and leveling. Agricultural implements. The various tools needed during agricultural practices are called agricultural implements. The main tools used in preparation of soil are plow, hoe, and cultivator. statement states that there are various tools that are needed for agricultural practices, which are also called as agricultural implements. The main tools that are used in the preparation of soil are plow, hoe, and cultivator. First, plow. Plow is used for tilling and the scraping of soil, weeding, manuring, etc. It consists of a strong triangular iron stripe, which is also called as plowshare. There is a very long rod of wood, which is called the plow shaft. The The other end is attached to a beam which is put on the neck of the bulls. The plowshare is curved to turn the soil after cutting. This is the plow shaft and this is the plowshare. This is the handle that is used by the farmer to grip on, and this is the beam that is attached on the neck of the bulls. Hoe. Hoe is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. It consists of a long rod of wood or iron, a strong, broad, and bent blade like a blade is fixed at the end of a long rod. At the other end, a beam is attached to the beam which is placed on the necks of the bulls. This is the rod, this is the bent plate, and this is the handle used by the farmers, and this is the beam that is to uh, used to fix the hoe on the neck of bulls. Cultivator. The tractor driven plow is called cultivator. The use of cultivator saves both time and labor. You can see that a, here is a tractor driving cultivator which is put at the end of a tractor. Plowing. The process of loosening and the turning of the soil used by the farmers, the process is called plowing or tilling. This is done by using a plow which is either drawn by a pair of bulls or driven by a tractor. You can see that two bulls uh, are uh, pulling a hoe. Loosening of soil is important because of the following reasons. Loose soil particles have more air spaces that help the roots of crops to breathe better. Loose soil particles can hold more water for a longer duration, which helps the roots to absorb more water. Loose soil helps roots to penetrate deep through the layers of the soil, which helps the plants to fix more firmly. Loose soil mixes with manure and fertilizers more easily. It helps to remove weeds from the field. Loose soil promotes to the growth of the useful soil microbes which help in the adding of humus to the soil and the growth of plants. While turning the soil during plowing, nutrient rich soil is brought up from lower levels of soil so the plants can use these nutrients. Did you know that earthworms live in soil and they turn and loosen the soil? Their burrowing action creates channels through which plant roots penetrate the soil easily and water enters through easily. Therefore, earthworms are also called farmer's friend. Leveling. After plowing, the plowed land is leveled and pressed lightly with the help of a wooden plank or iron leveler. A leveler can be driven by animals or by a tractor in the field. Whenever the plowed land is leveled up higher, it can be leveled at the same height by pressing lightly with the help of a wooden plank or with or a iron leveler. It can be driven by the tractor or animals. Leveling is done for the following reason. The plowed field may have big pieces of soil called crumbs which need to be crushed. Leveling prevents soil erosion. The leveled soil is not blown by wind or drained off by water. Leveling also helps in the uniform distribution of water and manure. That is it for today. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.